Hey y'all, what y'all doing? It is Wednesday, 1:34 p.m. and I was like, I miss y'all because I haven't talked to y'all since Saturday. I'm in between passengers for Lyft. So I'm like, I miss them. I want to have a random rideshare chat. There's so many things that I want to talk to y'all about anyway. That I'm gonna do a better video of. But I just came to say hi. Y'all might be on your lunch break. Y'all might be hitting that midday slump. I had wanted a Red Bull, I had wanted what is it called, y'all? A Gatorade earlier. The Cool Frost, the light blue is my favorite. So I went to a store and they didn't have it, and then that honestly gives me some energy. And then I just stopped at a Wawa to do a video. Just sit in the parking lot while I wait for a passenger. And then I had to pee. Child said, let me get out right now because pee while you can when you are driving rideshare. Y'all know random. I'm in this rideshare group on Facebook. I joined it like years and years ago to get tips or what have you. Because I started rideshare in 2017. Y'all, why some of them people wear diapers? I'm not joking. They'll post with their big Stanley cups and they'll be like, good morning, y'all. Make sure to get y'all water in. Wear your diaper, wear your Depends, so you don't have to use the bathroom. So you don't have to stop. Now, I do get it in a way. When I feel like I'm in a groove, like this morning, I was like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And then you feel like when you stop, or if you turn your app off, the rides don't come. A lot of times I don't turn my app off. I just try to find a bathroom like near where I am without turning it off. But I'm sorry, I can't see sitting in no Depends. I ain't trying to bring nothing on myself that is not. Like, I don't want to sit in no Depends. So, yeah. So I'm sitting here waiting, and I went in to use the bathroom, and instead of getting a Gatorade, this is a pretty can. Like, she's really, really pretty. I feel like I look so dark. I'm still trying to learn the lights in this car. So, back in 2017, when I started for Lyft, I used my car. Then I eventually traded that in, and then I got a car from Lyft, so I didn't put miles on it. Fast forward 2 or 3 years ago, my husband got a truck. I got another car. We traded his car in, like, for both, and I got a Maxima. I love Maximas. I put so many miles on it in 2 years. I should have listened to my husband 2 years ago when he made the suggestion to get a Lyft car. But I was like, no, because I don't want to be paying them. That money could be mine. Fast forward, here we are, and put so many miles on it. So I decided to go ahead and get a car through Lyft. And I figure I'll burn their car up for a few months, let my baby rest a little bit. So, but I'm used to like I got a 2024 Nissan Sentra through them, which is cute, but I'm used to like being able to leave my keys in my little pouch and, just hit the button when I lock the door. I'm used to my double sunroof and all that stuff. But I'm like, you know what? This is a job. You already ran your baby down a little bit. So I am renting a car through them. So I've been driving, working a little bit of longer days. So I just miss y'all. What's been on y'all mind? Stuff been on my mind, just crazy. I told y'all this is a rideshare ramble, not rant. Y'all, rideshare ramble. Did y'all see about Wendy Williams? I have it on my list of things I want to talk to y'all about. Y'all, they said, according to People magazine, that was it for her birthday? She was like in her building. Because remember, she had got moved to a different floor. In her building, she was on a different floor and then found her way down to the bar. Well, rather up to the bar. And they said she got drunk. And she's been moved to the memory care unit. I wonder, I know they say that the dementia that she has was caused by alcohol. But a part of me wonders, is it really the aphasia? Is it really that, or is it like alcohol is the problem? Like, does she really have the dementia, or is alcohol the problem with her still drinking or whatever? I don't know, but it's just, it's an addiction, and my prayers go up to Wendy. It's not easy, battling that. So just thinking about you, Auntie Wendy, hoping that you get better. Yeah, I feel like I just look so dark and so tired. Yeah, I got this new lip gloss. It's called Java Chip with Elf. And that's dark, so I feel like That's making me look dark. Whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna get fancy and get me a little light for our rideshare and rambles. But anyway, so shouts out to Wendy. Y'all, this Diddy trial, I said I was gonna cover it. I'm too busy listening to other people cover it. Shout out to Kempire. I love how he puts his coverage together and inserts like videos from other people that may have like gave interviews years prior, and now the stuff that they say is coming to be true. Like, I've been listening to him. Y'all, here we go. So I listen to him and have passengers in the car, right? Then they want to talk about it. Ain't it crazy? Did you hear about such and such? I'm trying to listen. Why is you talking to me? Why? Take a deep breath. But it was crazy though, because you just never know. Looking at somebody, you never know what they were dealing with, right? So I had a passenger in the car, and she gets in. Duh, she's a passenger, right? I'm listening to Kempire talk about Diddy or what have you. And you know how, because I think today's day 7. Is today day 7 of testimony? Day 7 or day 8 or whatever. But I might have actually been listening to yesterday's. Yesterday was day 7, I think. So I was listening to yesterday. And you know how you can tell when somebody wants to like insert or talk to you, so they'll like make a noise or like laugh and be like, wow, that's crazy, because they want you to follow up. I didn't follow up. So then she said something again. I was like, that's crazy. So, and I was like, yeah, it is. Because I was like, oh my gosh, she ain't gonna stop. And so I said, yeah, it is. And then she was like, she's a really nice lady. She talks about how it really is like that in the entertainment world. And I was in the entertainment for a little bit, and I had dinner with this guy who was handsome, and it was a business meeting for her. And later on, the guy told somebody, oh, wow, she was really about business. And I was like, yeah, that's how it is. You know, when they're used to having their way, you know, with women, or using that as leverage, it's what they do. And she was like, yeah. Then she says, I mean, if it was Diddy, that's a whole nother thing. I said, well, considering with all the money he had, he could have just, I don't know, like asked the people to sleep with him. He didn't have to like take coochie or what have you. And she was like, yeah, that's true. And she was like, you know, with this Diddy thing, with this Cassie thing, everybody's on the Cassie end of it. Like, oh, I feel bad. She said, but I'm on the opposite end, because she had to know what she was in, but you know, she was trying to basically big up her career, because the girl was saying that she would have done it like for her career. So Cassie was in it for her career. And I said, she's like, so she had choices. She could have left. I said, or he could have, I don't know, threatened her with the videotapes of her naked, threatened to show them to the industry, and had her thinking she would be blackballed, her not knowing what to do. I said, I get how it could look to people, but when unless you're in that, and psychologically, like, it's people all this talk, oh, I would have left, I would have did this, I would have done that. Maybe you would have, and good for you if you would have, but everybody is not like that. So I was like, you know, maybe she was afraid for her future, you know, and ultimately her life as far as trying to leave. And she was like, you know what? Yeah, that's true. You know, she hadn't thought about it like that. And then she was like, we were just talking about how people groom, how men groom women. And I forgot what she said, but I said, oh, it reminds me of that Tyler Perry movie. And I couldn't think of the name. And I said, when the mother, y'all remember the Tyler Perry movie, the mother had 2 daughters, and she would like prepare her daughter for men to like, y'all remember that movie? And she said, oh, and the girl that I was talking to, she was like, oh yeah, that happened to my mom. I said, what? She was like, yeah, that happened to my mom. She said, my grandma did that to my mom. And I was like, you mean? She was like, yeah, when she was 14 years old, the grandmom started, I said, selling your mom? And she was like, yeah. Yeah, I hope, did I do something? I don't know. I just feel like I look so dark. Anyway, she said, yeah, her grandmom would like sell her mom to men. And she was like, and my mom was always so protective over me and my sister. And we didn't know why back then. She said, especially around family, my mom was very much like so protective, and we didn't know why. And we wish that she would have told us. She said, my mom just recently told me, I just found out. And she said her and her mom now live together. And their relationship is better. She said because her mom had her and her sister, and the grandmom treated them like the world. Like that wouldn't have even been a thought to do that to them. And she said her mom has resentment towards her grandmom because the grandmom treated her and her sister like princesses. So it was just crazy how listening to the Diddy stuff and then all that came out about her mom. And I thought, how wild is it that you knew what happened to your mom, and your mom being 14 and your grandmother, like her family doing this to her and her own mom. But then, we think about before we really started talking about Cassie, and I was like, there was a lot of stuff going on. She was like, well, if it had been Diddy and she was trying to advance her career, she would have been with it. Like, it's just crazy. It's like you never know somebody's mindset, you know what I mean? Or where they're coming from, y'all. But it's been an interesting day. That's been about, I guess, my most not interesting. But I had two people get in this car that were listening to the Diddy thing, and they were like, Diddy is so wild. Diddy is so wild. He's wrong for what the stuff that he did. R. Kelly is nowhere near him. They need to let R. Kelly out and put him in. I said, or they could have them both in jail. Huh? No. Because R. Kelly still did what he did. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way people think to me is wild sometimes. But how are y'all? Are y'all following the Diddy trial very closely, or are you just loosely like hearing things? How did y'all feel about Cassie's testimony, about his assistant's testimony? I don't know if y'all saw that. His assistant testified, and Diddy polygraphed him twice because he thought he had like stole some jewelry or some jewelry got missing, and he wanted to know if he did it or whatever. I kept thinking like during jury selection, the judge made sure to let them know that Diddy was not on trial for domestic violence, right? So I'm noticing that like with Dawn Richard's testimony and all of that, and some of the other people's testimony, it's heavy on the violence of it all. So I'm like, why that? But then it makes you wonder if the RICO charge, well, the sex trafficking charge for sure is, sex trafficking is what, like, coercion, like making somebody do something like sexual acts, I guess, against their will or with coercion, right? So are they trying to link the violence to, like, he used violence to coerce Cassie into these freak offs and all that, and that will be where the sex trafficking came in? I don't know, because normally, isn't it like they don't get paid? Like with sex trafficking, the victims aren't paid. So if he's paying the escorts, but I guess Cassie would be the one that he coerced. So, but y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Cassie's mom testified that she took out a home equity loan for $20,000 because Diddy demanded money from them for all the stuff he did for Cassie. Shout out to Cassie for getting her money from Diddy and getting a deal with Intercontinental Hotel, the ones that had the videotape of what Diddy did to her. And I think $10 million is what she might be getting. Oh, just reliving all of that is just, ooh. I saw today, I was scrolling TikTok during another time I was waiting for a passenger, and I saw that his sons were there. So today, I think. So I ticked somebody on TikTok like was there outside, like, and it looked like, I was like, somebody asked her and she didn't answer. Like, did she have one of them, you know how you can wear glasses and record stuff? I don't know. But anyway, ooh, y'all let me know what y'all think about the Cassie, Diddy, like the whole trial of it all. Hearing Dawn Richard's testimony and Cassie, and then bringing up text messages and emails and the defense trying to paint a picture of Cassie being a willing participant in all of that. Has that swayed what you initially thought of Cassie and the freak offs and all of that? Or are you still pretty much firm in your stance? And what was your stance? Y'all make sure y'all say prayers up again for our auntie Wendy. Y'all seen that, switching gears real fast, y'all seen that Apollo's, him and Shireen are divorced, right? Ex-child released camera footage from the home of Apollo being in there with different women, but then also texting her like he wants his family and he wants his family back and all of this other stuff. No, but I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I'm gonna talk about it more in depth when I do a video, but no, but girl. And then he released a still shot of her kissing somebody. It looked like she was at a gas station or something. I'm like, whoa. Crazy, y'all. So many crazy things going on, y'all. What else? What did y'all think about Sunday night's episode of Atlanta? And did y'all watch Drew's interview with Carlos King, where she said her and Ty, they talked on the phone a lot. Ty like laughed at her jokes, paid her attention. You know, 'cause she was lacking that with Ralph. She said there was a lot of flirting, and she said she don't judge nobody else for their sexual orientation, but she was in love with her husband. Or she don't judge anybody for what they do sexually, but she was in love with her husband. There was a lot of flirting or whatever, but it wasn't that. But she admitted to the flirting. Ty is fine. If y'all watch the interview with Tamar has said that Nene's ex looked like a stud. And then Tamar was joking, like, are you a lesbian? And Nene was like, no, are you a lesbian? And I said, that's what women feel when they look at Ty Young. They be like to themselves, are you a lesbian? No. Is you a lesbian? No. Because Ty is fine. Anyway, so Drew cleared that up. Drew was popping her ish in the interview. I hope she stands on that at the reunion. I need that Drew at the reunion. And Drew is so beautiful. I just have always thought Drew has like an angel face. She's just gorgeous. But the interview was actually interesting. I really, really, really enjoyed it. If y'all haven't, go check it out. If you have seen it, let me know y'all thoughts on it. There was something else in the interview that I wanted to bring to y'all in this video. She talked about Ty. Child, she said Shamia was definitely a lap dog, and she knows a couple puppies. She has some treats. Remember, she threw that dog bone at, I don't want to say her name wrong. The person that Candy brought on, I think her name, Fumi, maybe? What else did she talk about, y'all? She just talked about some other stuff, but if y'all see my finger, I keep swiping up. I keep getting notifications. Trying to think what else. That was good. Oh, she had talked about how she did have conversations with Portia about working with Dennis. So I guess my thing is, did she know that y'all were going to be filming? And is that her issue? Child. Let's see. What else? A lot. So in the Bravo Street stuff is going on. Y'all see Mia let the RHOP cast know to keep her out the group chat. Like basically keep my name out your mouth. Girl, what you going to do if they don't? I'm just curious. Did y'all see Kelly on Watch What Happens Live? It looked like she had like a tornado going on behind her, like part of her outfit. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm about to get back on this road. We just got a ride. I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.